joining us today for a fantastic presentation focusing on destination weddings. And our presenter today is from Pleasant Holidays and Journeys, who are fantastic partners to us at the cruising company. And we are very happy to have Stephen Perry with us, and he's going to give us some information about destination weddings. And if you have questions as the presentation goes along, everyone is muted to control background noise, but there is a questions box on your control panel that's on your screen. You can certainly type in any questions that you have. I'll be happy to monitor those, and we'll make sure that we get answers to your questions at the end of the presentation. We have allowed for time for that. So, Stephen, please tell us more about destination weddings.
All right, thank you, and thank you everyone for taking time out of your day to attend this webinar. Greatly appreciate it. I promise it will be very short. I really just want to share some great information with you. Before we get started, again, my name is Stephen Perry. I am with Pleasant Holidays. I am the sales trainer for Pleasant Holidays, Journeys, Air by Pleasant, and Pleasant Activities. Before I became a sales trainer, I did work on our Journeys products as the lead destination specialist. And before that, I was actually a destination specialist, much like a travel agent for Journeys. So yes, if anyone's thinking this question, I was Steve Perry with Journeys. So I got a lot of jokes about that. Fortunately, now I'm Stephen Perry at Pleasant Holidays. No longer get that joke. That said, I'm going to go ahead and proceed. So we are here to talk about destination weddings, and destination weddings are exciting. It's a lot of fun. I think that travel agents can often agree that it's one of the more fun types of reservations to work on and help customers plan. That said, it can be stressful sometimes. So our partnership with the Cruising Co. is really to kind of make things a lot easier and just be another resource to help create the perfect destination wedding. So what is a destination wedding? I know this question comes up pretty often. I think when people are unsure, they just know a destination wedding, you travel somewhere and you get married. That's, definitely the biggest piece of it. But destination weddings are intimate. You can pick a perfect place to go to and have as many or as few guests as you want. I know sometimes you want that massive traditional wedding, but nowadays I think a lot of us are starting to look at the more intimate, closest family, best friends only, to be that kind of picture perfect wedding. Destination weddings are also fun. You get to go to paradise, somewhere you've always wanted to be with your loved one, and just really do whatever you want on the most important, time of your life. And they're romantic. So, there's nothing more romantic on your wedding than getting married in paradise. So now you know what is a destination wedding. Why would you want to have a destination wedding? Because time matters. You have more time at a destination wedding. It's not a single night thing. Yes, the ceremony might be one day, but you could spread it out for as long as you want. Typical destination weddings about 3 to 4 nights. So you have time to spend with your friends. You have time to actually enjoy the experience. You're not having a wedding, you're having an experience, and it's possibly the most important special day of your life. Definitely want to have enough time to enjoy that. And then you have time for each other. You can have the wedding and then, enjoy your friends and family, and then you could say peace out and go off and just enjoy each other. Because it's easy. We have experienced destination specialists or wedding specialists to help you through the whole planning process. This is planning process during travel, and then even after you return. So anything you need, you can work with your Cruising Co. agent who works with us, and we can get anything you need accomplished to make your life easier. And because it's what you've dreamed of, it's the wedding the way that you want it. It's your choice for large or small wedding, as we've talked about, and you can be the envy of everybody. You know, there's not just one place for destination weddings. Yes, beach weddings are very popular for obvious reasons, but you could go get married anywhere, really. Anywhere you really want to be married, it's your choice and it's the way you want it. And that also includes how the wedding's set up. You know, are you really getting legally married? Are you getting ceremonial vows? You know, whatever it is you want, that's what you can do on your destination wedding. And because it's special, I mean, that pretty much speaks for itself. If you had a view like that and that's where you got married, that's pretty special. And then because this was really supposed to be the hard part, asking the question, will you marry me? That's the hard part. It shouldn't be planning the wedding process that is the hard part. So that's one reason why it's really good to have a destination wedding and have your Cruising Co. agent working with Pleasant Holidays to make it really easy for you. So our wedding travel desk specialists, they're all well-versed on various wedding programs and packages. So really anything that you want, we've probably done before. And if not, that's great because that makes us excited to really go out and make it perfect for you. We help streamline communication between the Cruising Co. agents as well as the on-site wedding coordinator. So anything you need during the planning process, we just make it a lot easier for your travel agent and yourself to work with us. And then you can receive up-to-the-minute reports on wedding guest reservations. So if you want to see how many of your guests have signed up, made their reservation to go to your wedding, you're going to be able to get up-to-the-minute reports exactly with who's already taken care of their reservations. And then we have competitive pricing for any of your trip components. Then we create client's wedding profile within the booking. It makes it virtually hands-free for the Cruising Co. agent, which makes it nice, and it makes sure that everything you want for your wedding is included on there. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here momentarily. So what is the booking process for a destination wedding? Basically, the bride and groom with your Cruising Co. agent select a hotel or at least a destination, some kind of ideas. And then our wedding desk specialist can assist also with making those hotel choices. Because again, we're very experienced. If you need advice, that's really the fun part about this job. So we can definitely help you make choices that best suit what you're looking for based on budgets, your vision, what kind of inclusions you want, as well as for your guests. And then the bride and groom complete the chosen hotel's own online profile. It basically has your first and second requested date and time for your wedding. This is important just to make sure that we can get you what you're looking for in a really timely manner. Something important to consider, I already mentioned, is are you going to have a legal or symbolic wedding? This is important because you can't always have a legal wedding when you're going to another country, for example. So it's oftentimes best to have, you know, an actual wedding here, get married in the States first, and then go and do a symbolic wedding. Now, once the wedding date and location is confirmed, Pleasant Holidays will begin creating the bookings and advise of any kind of legal requirements. This includes if you're looking for a legal wedding, we're going to be able to let you know if that's something you can do or what would be required to do that. And then if needed, we will assist in providing the on-site wedding coordinator contact information so that the bride and groom can work either with your Cruising Co. agents or with the wedding coordinator directly if that's something that's needed. One thing that makes this really easy is on our website, we have a wedding profile form. This is something that your Cruising Co. agent will help you fill out. And it just has, you could see it on this slide right here. It has all of the information for things you're looking for, your wants, your needs, so that it makes it really easy for us to get all of the requested information for you. Now, one thing that's become very common and sought after as well is hotels that offer free weddings. And this is great because free weddings can save you a lot of money and it can be a lot of fun, but it can also remove so much of the wedding planning process. You can see here's a list of some hotels and chains that offer free weddings. Oftentimes included in a free wedding, you have the ceremony. It's most commonly for about 10 guests for the free wedding, but that is something that can be worked on. It usually has, again, the ceremony. It also has wedding cake, champagne toast, extra gifts for guests or for the wedding couple. Oftentimes it can also include meals, or meals could be added as well. Example of free wedding package. So I just kind of started talking about that actually, but complimentary when booking a minimum of 7 nights, in this case in a preferred club, ocean view or higher, or if you have 5 rooms or more, any category for 3 nights. They oftentimes have the symbolic ceremony, the on-site wedding coordinator, you have access to them. Preparation for ironing for the couple's wedding day attire. That's of course important because that's something a lot of people don't think about. You're traveling to another location, you're stuffing your dress or suit in a bag, so definitely need some professional ironing there. So that gets taken care of regularly. Free room for either the bride or groom on the night prior to the wedding, if that's something that you're interested in. Bouquets are oftentimes also including, as I said before, wedding cake, special turn-down service the night of the wedding, make it a little bit more romantic. Also discounts at spa treatments. And then there's different newlywed packages. This is always included. Special room decorations, maybe, you know, flowers on the bed, things like that. Also late checkout. That's huge because if you decide to have your ceremony the night before you leave, a late checkout is huge. Makes it a lot easier for you to take your time in the morning. And then free anniversary nights. Oftentimes they'll include free nights extra for you to stay as an anniversary for your first anniversary or a later anniversary. And just wanted to cover some insider booking tips that help out. Sometimes people don't think about these. All-inclusive hotels don't always include meals at the wedding reception. So we will of course let you know if you're looking for meals at your ceremony. One reason for this is most ceremonies, the guests attending do not have to be staying at the hotel. They may be staying at another hotel and coming in for the wedding. So if it's an all-inclusive hotel, you know, they do include your meals, but if a guest is not staying at that hotel, then of course that would be different. Avoid paying out-of-pocket day passes for guests not staying on site. So again, if guests are not staying at that same hotel, we can look at sister properties for them. There's adult-only and family-friendly accommodations that you can look at that are nearby and, you know, sister properties, same hotel chain, and then you won't have to pay any kind of guest passes for them. Some unique items, think about morning after brunches. That's a huge hit for wedding parties. Customized ceremonies, if there's any religious beliefs, that could be done. Day after programs can also include something like trash the dress and a cenote. What that is, if you're not familiar, is it's a natural hole, basically. It's a kind of like a sinkhole or a hole in the ground that goes to water, kind of like what that couple's jumping into on the right-hand side. And it's very common, especially in Mexico, to the day after the wedding, wear your wedding attire and actually jump into this water, have some photography both underwater and on top of water done. It's great. If you have a moment, I recommend that you Google search it. It's a huge hit and something that you might think about. That's not too common yet. So most of the time when you have friends see it, they won't even know what it is and they'll think it's unique and you're the first one to ever do it. And then consider newlywed time for the last few nights. A lot of times couples want to wait until the end to have their ceremony, but it's great to have your ceremony, you know, early or in the middle, and then have some nights at another property for yourselves away from your friends and family. And make sure before you leave, you know, if you're at a sandy beach, add in that just married onto the sand, get a picture together with that, have fun. I mean, because ultimately a destination wedding is all about having fun. And that's my presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it. I really wanted to just teach you the basics of what a destination wedding is, why to do it, how much fun it can be, as well as romantic and easy. There's 100 different reasons why to have a destination wedding. Hopefully you've seen some of them here and are excited for that. And if you have any questions, I am available for those right now.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I do have a couple of questions, and if anybody on the call has any questions as well, just put those in the questions box, and I'll be happy to present them for answers. But the first question is, how far in advance should you plan if you are doing a destination wedding?
How far in advance should you plan if you're doing a destination wedding? The more time, the better. But that said, you know, if you're looking about a year in advance, I think that's very realistic. That's still very far in advance, enough time to get everything done as well as make changes should they arise. I would plan at least 6 months in advance, though, whenever possible.
Okay. And if you're planning more than, if you're planning a year in advance or more than a year in advance even, and the airfare obviously is not going to be available yet, but we can go ahead and lock in the resort for the bride and groom and get that part set up. Is that correct?
We can, yes. So we can definitely get everything possible set up as far out as in advance as you need, which takes off a lot of stress. And then the day that airfare is available to book, we can go ahead and start working on getting anyone their airfare that's needed.
Okay. And you touched on this a little bit, but could you talk a little bit more about how people handle it if they find that the perfect property that they want to get married at is an adults only property? Does that mean you can't have kids come to the wedding, or can kids come just for the wedding, or how does that work?
That's a great question. So if a wedding party is staying at an adults-only property, the best thing to do is to look at a sister property for those that have kids, just to avoid any fees. Now, usually kids will be allowed at the ceremony. However, after the ceremony, unless there's a meal provided at the ceremony itself, then the kids would need to leave the property at that point once the ceremony is completed. That is still very common though, because a lot of wedding couples choose to stay at an adults only option and have kids stay at another one, just so that they have a little bit more privacy and private time.
Great. And one other question, so if you do have that situation, you have folks staying at different properties, we can make the arrangements for the transportation to get all the guests and the wedding party and whoever else is affected by that between the different resorts. Is that correct?
It is. So there's two ways for that. If it's at sister properties, it's really easy because we'll just get in our wedding contract with the resort, we'll get them to include that transportation there. So that's already going to be covered and included there. If it's not sister properties, then that's fine. We have lots of different companies that we work with, specific companies we work with rather, that we can arrange the transportation for everyone with. So you won't have to worry about any of that. We'll take care of everything for you.
Okay, great. And then the last question that I have that was sent in, and if anybody else has any, we've still got a couple more minutes. We can answer or pose some questions. Is when you're dealing with these properties, are there any places that people can do destination weddings that you work with where passports aren't required? Or are all of these places going to require all the guests to have, assuming they're all U.S. citizens, to have passports?
That's another good question. The best thing would be to talk to your Cruise & Co. agents who will likely already know, which places you can go to without a passport. However, some common ones, if say you wanted to go to the Caribbean, going into Puerto Rico or the U.S. Virgin Islands as options. You could stay within the states. You could go to Hawaii, things like that. Other destinations, most will require passports though for everyone traveling.
Great. Wonderful. Well, we appreciate the information that you have shared with us very much. And I think this is everybody who's looking at this picture has to think that this is a fantastic way to celebrate the beginning of a new life together for a couple that is getting married. And we look forward to working with anybody who is interested in conducting or having a destination wedding, we'd be happy to assist you. And Stephen, thank you very much for your time. And if anybody has any questions they didn't get answered, just reach out to your Cruising Co. agent, and we'll be happy to get those answered for you. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.